Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, everyone. My name is Hafiza, and right now I'm going to explain the material of basic English speaking in midterm test. That is silent letter in term of pronunciations. Without further ado, let's get into the material. All right, in this presentation, I'm going to explain the definitions in and second is importance, and the third one is the example of the silent letters, and the fourth one or the last one is I'm going to explain the pronunciations of the silent letters. All right, we get into the first one, that is the definitions. So here I'm going to explain about the silent letter in English and pronunciations. In English, silent letters are letters that appear in a word but are not pronounced when the word is spoken. These letters are present in the word's spelling but do not contribute to its phonetic pronunciations. Now, silent letters can be found at the beginning, middle, or the end of the word and are often a result of historical or etymological factors, the influence of other languages, or changed pronunciations over time. All right, we get into the importance of the silent letters. So here I'm going to explain the importance or the needs of learning silent letters in English when we are speaking to other foreigners. All right, silent letters are important because they provide historical and etymological clues about the origins of words and the evolutions of languages. Understanding silent letters can help with proper pronunciations and spelling, especially in words borrowed from other languages. So we're we are to depend on the silent letters because it helps us to understand and to convey many message with the very proper pronunciations to other foreigners in terms of speaking English. All right. So the third one, I'm going to give you an example of the silent letters for each alphabet because it's more easier to understand while I'm giving you the examples of the each words. So what is the silent letters for each alphabet? Let's get into it. All right. Here's the silent letters from the word A. It's called romantically, musically, and logically. You hear the sound of romantically, musically, or logically. I'm not pronouncing the words of A because if I pronounce that, it will be like romantically, musically, and logically. Well, a lot of continent will spell it the A word, but in British or American accent, which is very universal languages or accents, they do not pronunciate the words of A. So we will have to explain it about like romantically, musically, and logically. So what about the word B? The word B was pronounced like climb, dumb, lamb, depth, and doubt. We're not pronouncing it like climb, dumb, lamb. No, not like that. So we are going to pronounce it the right way in British or in American languages. That is climb, dumb, lamb, and the other things. So the words of B were not pronunciated because it will be sound weird to foreigners when we are speaking like that. All right, here's the words for the C letters. For example of the C is the muscles, scissors, fascinate, and scenario. See, I'm not pronouncing the C word because if I pronounce it, it will be like muscle, scissor, fascinate, and scenario. So it will sound weird, right? It will sound weird if and it will include the any other the words from A to Z. And here's another word for the Wednesday. or I should say D, the D word. So the example of the D word in silent letters is Wednesday, handsome, sandwich, knowledge. And for the word E, there is a word that called determine, bake, clue, and wrap. What if I spell the words of E? So it would be like this: determine, bake, clue, and wrap it. It will sound very, very unpleasant to hear, you know. What about the word G? The G letter for the example of the word is a sign, champagne, design, gnome. So you're not saying it like sig, champagne, design, and gnome. No, not like that. So we have to explain it with the right pronunciation, like sign, champagne, design, and gnome, like that. So you can see the other example of the silent letters from the words H, I, K, L. Well, if you ask me, where is the words of J? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the word J is often pronunciated. It does not including the silent letters for each alphabet. So the words of J, the letters of J were not included in the silent letters. Okay. And here's is the example of the last uh word from the M, N, P, R, S, T, U, W, and Z. So you can see it by yourself and you can correctly spell it by yourself. All right. So we're going into the fourth material or the last material that is the pronunciations of the silent letters. All right. From the words of the silent letters, I'm going to give you another example, but this one was in the form of a sentence. Yeah. So it will give you a very easier material to understand. All right, we start from the words of the silent K. I'm going to pronounce it for you. I know you knocked my door with your knee. So that is the right way to pronunciate it, the words of the silent K. If you pronounce it like I know you knock my door with your knee. No, that is the wrong way to pronunciate the words of the silent K. And here's another example of the words of the silent D. I had the most delicious sandwich last Wednesday. So if you pronounce it like I had the most delicious sandwich last Wednesday, it will be wrong. People will get misunderstanding of your languages. So you have to pronounce it like I had the most delicious sandwich last Wednesday. The words of D in Wednesday were not pronunciated. Alright, here's the last example of the sentence from the silent words. Here is the words of the silent T. That is, soften your voice and listen to the whistle of that bird. You're not going to pronounce it like soften your voice and listen to the whistle of that bird. Well, my ladies and gentlemen, my friend, there are some countries that spell it like the soften your voice and listen to the whistle of that bird. They pronounce it the words of that T. For example, of that country is like India, Sudan, African, or the Asian or the Middle Eastern country. They will pronounce the T because they do not have a constant voice like the British or the American voice. But because the American and the British was the universal accent or the universal languages, so you have to pronounce it like soften your voice and listen to the whistle of that bird. Now that is the right way to pronunciating the words of the silent word T. Uh, And there you have it, my friend, the silent letters material from me. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you can understand the words of the silent letters from me. And sorry for the commotion or the inconvenience. See you at the next video. Bye bye.